want to start with some discussion with you about the periods of physical ill health that all of you have described either growing up or as an ongoing issue. What discussions have you had with doctors about any connection between those bouts of ill health and your hepatitis C?
None really. I've had none that I can remember, other than what's in my notes at the time. Since then, I've had no more conversations about it.
Stephen, you're shaking your head as well.
Nothing at all.
Nothing whatsoever from my doctors at all. Anything I ever learnt is from here, from the other victims.
Marlene, you've obviously had some talk.
Yes, it's depended on which rheumatologist I've seen. I've had rheumatologists, as I say, who said, have there been a connection, you know. I've had other rheumatologists and other doctors who, well, you know, if you lost a bit of weight, that you won't have these aches and pains, and really just brushed it aside, you know. So some simply don't want to go there.
And each of you were told that you'd cleared the hepatitis C in very different ways. Do you have any reflections on how you were told and perhaps how you should have been communicated with about it?
I think it was just all very, very vague to start with. It was, again, and we never got a sit-down chat with any of the doctors. So this has happened. I can't even give a date when it was found out. Infected with Hep C. It was only after seeking the doctors for clarification that it's confirmed. Yes, you've got it and you've cleared it. But that's it.
With hindsight, do you think that should have been more proactive in terms of telling you that you'd cleared it?
Yes, there's a lot of things in hindsight they should have done differently. I mean, how are they not even told what we tested for? So I'll relate to you with the bloods that were taken. You said, what, 14 bottles?
Yeah, 14 vials. Yeah.
19.
Oh,
yeah, at one occasion I was taking 19 bottles of blood. It was just annual reviews. They take blood. Didn't know what it was for. And then you just, you need to go up there for, we did hepatitis B vaccination. And again, in hindsight, I didn't question this. What does that mean? What's a carrier? Again, unnecessarily was treated with more cryoprecipitate for the vaccinations. 10 bags, 5 bags for the first dose and another 5 bags for the second dose. And it was unnecessary.
But just thinking back to that conversation about having cleared the hepatitis C, do others have any reflections on how that was done, how it could have been done?
I can remember, so I can always remember at one point being told, you've cleared it, and you're one of the really lucky ones because the chance of clearing it is like 0.01%. When now it's like, seems to be a lot higher than that. So you should think yourself really lucky. And I was like, yay, but no. But yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, you should be really grateful. And I was, and I am. But it was like, yeah, well done, you've cleared it. But yeah, your chances of doing that were really slim. So you're a special one. Well done. I can always kind of remember that, and then virtually most of the things you've just said that reply. I remember the Hep B stuff as well. But
you did right. When I was told, I didn't jump around. I didn't do a dance. I went, I'm not that lucky. In my head, I was like, I can't be that lucky. In my head, I was going to die from this. I'm not that lucky. I've never been offered the treatment, so I wasn't going to get through it that way. And it took a long time, months if not a year, to actually think, I'm going to be okay. It took that long.
Reflecting on how it should have been communicated.
I found that I was told after the biopsy by my GP, brilliant, you've cleared it, the same thing, you're really lucky, you know, and blah, blah, blah. So I was then asking questions about, does that mean it's definitely gone? Well, you know, who can say absolutely 100%, but you're fine, you're fine. I was concerned about potentially passing it on to my children, and I'd just become a grandma for the first time as well then. And it was like, well, what about dealing with my grandchild, you know, that's just come along, because I had him a lot. Well, if if you've any little cuts or anything, then you'll have gloves around, won't you? Because, you know, they knew that what I did for a living. And so I said, well, I treat everything like barrier nursing, basically. And I said, well, it's the safest option, I suppose. But you're fine, you're really lucky. Again, you're really lucky. You're one of a very, very few, but there's a lot of us.
What would you have wanted to happen in that communication about clearing?
It'd have been nice if I'd have had like a proper formal, like, gone in and said, by the way, we've tested you now and it's showing that you did have it, but you've cleared it and you are now negative, and then it explained what that meant and what that would mean for the future or anything like that. I've never had that. I've never really had anybody explain to me what it would mean for my future. Will it mean ongoing health problems going forward? It's just I got told, you've cleared it, you're fine, that's it, going forward, don't have to worry about that thing ever again. That thing that you used to have that could kill you, don't have to worry about it now, well done. It was like, that's pretty much the information I got given in a really blasé kind of way, like off the cuff. Why are you worrying about that? You cleared it ages ago. Never got like a nice meeting of coming in, yeah.
So you'd have preferred a more structured discussion
just
about what's happened and what the future looks like.
Even if it was just in one of my regular, like, quarterly or 6 month like meetings of like, by the way, we're going to set aside 5 minutes and here we go, we're going to go over this thing that you had and go over it in a lot of detail. I can never remember that happening at all.
What about others?
I would like them to have been more open. If they sat me down, spoke to me, right, you've picked this up, this is where we think you've picked this up. What's the chances of anything else happening in the future? But there was nothing. I would have liked that. I would have liked the doctor to have sat down and explained it all to me. So it took till well into the 90s before I could get confirmation. Even still, it wasn't. Like, it's okay. It's fine. There's no risk left whatsoever. Even now, I've got that over my head that it may come back. If my immune system takes a knock, it may rear its head again.
I completely agree with that. What you should have said, and took more time to do it, was, right, we don't know how you've done it, you have self-cleared, now we're going to monitor you to make sure it doesn't come back, and we're going to monitor you later to make sure you're not going to have any health. There was none of that. You're just like, don't know how you've done it, Mr. Roberts. But you seem to cleared it. And that was that. No follow-up.
Sorry. I think for me it was more, I think because of the job I was doing, I recognised that they didn't actually know themselves, my GP particularly. So I thought, as it was pointed out to me, I asked awkward questions, to which they just didn't have the answers, you know. I think if they'd been probably allowed to be a bit more open and say, look, we really don't know what we're dealing with here, I think that could have been accepted a bit more. But I think we've all had the brush off, basically. It sounds we're all telling a similar story. I think we've all had this, you're fine, it's okay, go away. You know.
Further risks should have been spoken about. They should have said, look, if you continue this treatment, there are these risks. But I don't know about everyone else, but I was never informed of the risks. No, and I can't imagine for 1 second that my mum and dad had any idea about the risk it involved having this treatment, because any parent, is it life saving they have this treatment, or will it get better if they don't? They would choose no treatment. If it's over, you could catch something that could potentially kill you.
Yeah, I agree.
And in terms of that ongoing conversation about hepatitis C, have any of you had any ongoing follow-up with a hepatologist or about the condition of your liver?
No, none that I can remember.
I have yearly annual reviews where they check my liver function tests.
I think they may do that without. They may do. I'm going to ask next time I'm there to see if they do that. But yeah.
Kevin, I think you've had
I
a
had
bit
to
more
ask.
input.
Yes, I had to ask when I first came up, and the victims told me what I should be asking for to my haematology doctor.
So
And
you
he
attended the inquiry
Yeah,
and
I
then
attended
went
the
back to
inquiry
your hospital.
because I'm naive. I did not have a clue about anything apart from that one pamphlet I had. And I learned from the other victims. I said, "Hi, mate. Do you have any fibre scans? What's a fibre scan? Oh, it's a liver test. You've had liver function test? Don't think so. Why not? I said, I just don't. And from this, I went back to my haematology doctor, rang him up, said, we need a meeting. Well, what's this about? You know, you got your 6 monthly meeting. You can wait for that. I said, no, I need a meeting. I need one now. I said, why is this? Well, I've been to the blood inquiry. I'm a core participant. You are? Why is that? Well, I was infected with Hep C. You know that. I said, oh, yeah, blood inquiry? Yes, I'm with the blood inquiry. And I've been told what I should be asking for. Oh, well, what do you want? I said, I would like liver function test. Well, you're cleared. You don't need it. And I would like a fibre scan. I'm not sure you want one of those. I said, no, I want a fibre scan. I want peace of mind. Oh, well, we'll better have you in. And I got a phone call a couple of days later. Oh, by the way, we could put you in for this, come in for Wednesday afternoon. I hope you don't mind. We'd like to bring a legal representative to be there with us. Really? What do you need one of those for? Oh, just for us. Do what you like. And I went there, and they said, and I said, look, it's for my peace of mind. And I said, well, we've not done a fibre scans much. We don't know much about it. I said, but we'll book you in one. And, oh, that's all I'm asking. And, you know, when I do my blood test, can you do a liver function test for me? He goes, yes, we'll do that for you as well. We're lovely. Okay, great. I popped in again about a week later, and I said, how's things going? And he says, well, Mr. Roberts, it's been interesting because we had my doctor, Dr. Craig, said, after we had the visit with you, I had a meeting at the haematology meeting in Wales, where all the doctors got together. And at the end of the meeting, as they said, any questions, I said, I've got a patient of mine who managed to self-clear, and he brought up a very valid point. He said to me, he's come from the inquiry, and he said he would like a fibre scan and liver function test. And he says, he's very right, he's very valid. Is there anything out there to bring in people who cleared with interferon or self-cleared on their own to give them these tests? And everyone looked at each other and went, no, there's nothing in writing about it. But it's a very valid point. And from that meeting, they sent a letter out to try and pick up these people who have been slipped the net, to bring them back in and offer them a chance to have these tests to check their future health. And that made me feel really good. Really good.
So you will now have had a fibre scan and to check your liver?
I did until COVID, and I've been slipped out the net again, so I'll have to rattle some cages and get back on it again. But yes, since COVID, I have slipped out, and I said, fair enough. But yes, when I come back from here, I shall back on it again.
Marlene, what's your experience been?
Yeah, I was monitored annually, liver function tests, and saw a haematologist in outpatients up to about 15 years ago, and they just said there's no point doing them anymore, but if you have any problems, let us know. And that was it, really. Heard nothing since at all. I was then contacted probably 10 years ago by a research group based in Cambridge who were looking at people like us who'd self-cleared, and they wanted to have bloods to try and find out why we'd self-cleared, with a view to helping perhaps a vaccine or whatever be produced. And that went on for probably about 18 months, I think, and then they just suddenly dropped out of the picture. They're not contactable, don't really know what happened to that information. But that's it.
And all of you have spoken about the impact on your mental well-being of knowing that you had the infection and that you've cleared it. Has there been any recognition of this by clinicians with whom you continue to engage?
No, nothing.
Not really.
Nothing at all.
Never been asked.
And do you think there should have been?
Yes, most definitely.
Probably, yeah.
And what would that look like for you?
I don't know. Well, for me personally, after my plan was to try and get a bit of therapy because I took the lid off this box. But my plan was to get today out of the way, and then I'm on that. And my wife's going to probably kick my butt until I go and do it. But yeah, that had been something. I kind of feel like I was told at a very young age that I got something that's probably going to kill me. I'd seen on the news and grew up with people around me contracting and dying of AIDS, and have known about that. I've got something quite similar to that. As a young age, knew I've got something that's probably going to kill me. Probably has altered the way I've lived most of my life, if I'm honest. Yeah, and dealt with it by bottling stuff up and putting it away and trying not deal with certain things because, yeah, it's the easiest option. It's probably not the best thing for me, but it has been an easier option.
Marlene, you're nodding to that.
Yeah, I recognise the bottling it up, putting in little boxes in your head thing, and I think a lot of that comes from the attitudes that we've had from the medical profession in terms of, well, you've cleared it, you're okay, it's not that bad, you lot can go away, we've got poorly people to deal with. But it's only recently that I've actually managed to sort of put it in my head in that, okay, we haven't lost our lives, we're still here, but we've lost the lives we expected to have through no fault of our own. You know, you can have an accident which can change the course of your life. You can develop an illness that can shorten your life, can change your life. But this has been done to us, and I think to have had that recognised would have been a big step. And yeah, perhaps some support in terms of, I don't know, counselling or whatever, to actually help you to get your head around that and to work out, you know, where you were going really. But yeah, we've just been brushed aside and left to get on with it.
So I'm the same boat. Growing up, I was never told about help groups, and they would have helped. The Hep C Trust, Hematology Society, Haemophilia Society. I was on my own. I never talked to anyone about it, not even my own family, my own mum and dad, my brothers. Just never talked to no one about it. Fear, shame. I thought I was the only one. The doctors should have acknowledged this. They knew the stigma attached, and they could have helped.
There was no professional support given whatsoever. The only support I've ever had throughout my life has been through my family. That's it. There's been nothing. Even now, I've had no professional support at all, and it's something we've had to deal with. Well, I've had to deal with from a child. I agree with all these guys. It's you bottle it up. You don't talk about it. Anyone asks, yeah, I'm good.
I think that stems as well from being told by the doctors, don't tell people. Don't, because they knew, I could imagine in a certain way, the stigma that would be attached to it. So, yeah, don't go mention this to people. And it's like today, I still haven't mentioned to most of my friends that don't know I'm here. Only my wife, my mum and my dad know I'm here today. My brother knew I was coming, but he's currently away with work, so he doesn't know exactly that I'm here today because I haven't spoken to him for a couple of weeks. But other than that, nobody else knows I'm actually here today. because it's something I don't talk about. A couple of my friends, close friends, and for a long time knew about my Hep C because I've now told them about it. But other than that, nobody knows because I've never really told anybody about it. So I was told to do that.
A very different theme. Some of you also had problems obtaining insurance. Can you tell us how that's felt and what effect it's had on your lives? Stephen, do you want to start?
Okay.
Just
It's going back nearly 25 years. I got life insurance because I had a mortgage, and I wasn't asked any questions about hepatitis C. Got the insurance, no problems whatsoever. Now, I consider myself fortunate on that side of things, is that it's still got a couple of years left to run that insurance, but it wasn't very competitive. The insurance I went for, when I met my wife now, I was refused. And that was because they specifically asked me questions about hepatitis C. Now, as a result of that, any further insurance, I have to now tell them, yes, I have had insurance refused. I did appeal it. I did get it. I got the insurance accepted, but they increased my premium, so I have special conditions attached. So every time I go for any more insurance now, I have to say that. That in turn increased my premiums. When my current insurance runs out, in a couple of years, that's it. It's not even worth me getting any more insurance.
And how does that make you feel when you're
Frustrated, angry. It's something that's, it's not my fault. It's just something that I haven't done to myself, and I'm just being refused the same level of insurance anyone else would be entitled to. It's frustrating. I'm just everything, annoyed, hurt, everything. It should never have happened.
Kevin, have you had any experience of this?
To be fair, I don't even have a pension. Never planned a future. So therefore, I've never even tried. Didn't think I'd get accepted anyway. So for me, I'm starting to build my future now, and I'm looking at, I hope to get a pension. I ought to get this insurance now. I'm at the delicate age. So yeah, I'm feeling better about myself, and I do think I have a bit of a future. So it's something I will approach, but looking at the problems these guys are getting, it's another wall to climb, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's hard enough battling with EBS and trying to make a future for my children, and then to have another fight for something that's not my fault. Yeah, tough.
Even with the insurance, it's no guarantees that if something happens to me, that's going to pay out. I don't know that. And that's a worry. Even though I'm paying that premium, are they then going to say, oh, actually, you didn't tell us about this, we're not going to pay out? Because that is a worry and a fear of mine with the insurance I've got.
Marlene, do you have anything you want to add?
Same thing really, sort of when they found out about the Hep C contact, which is all, that's what it's been. There's no, I think someone else mentioned it earlier, there's no opportunity to say how this came about. I think they just assume it's a lifestyle situation, and that in itself is upsetting. Not to put down somebody who has problems with drugs, they've got big problems, but it's wrong because they do tar us all with the same brush. And to just say, right, well, okay, you might have cleared it, but you're too big a risk. We're not going to do it. And you don't apply again. You don't go there. Wayne,
do you want to chip in?
I've never applied for any due to the fact that I just knew I probably wouldn't get it. So, I mean, I've never owned a house. I've never applied for a mortgage or anything like that. So, yeah, currently don't have life insurance. Currently have rented my entire life. So I've never really experienced it, but I got told that I'd be rejected for most life insurances anyway, due to the haemophilia and then the Hep C being there. So I was kind of told that. I've never then been in a position to go and get a house to actually go through the whole procedure of doing it. I might be now. It's something I'm looking to do in the future. But yeah, it's something I've never actually experienced it, because the only thing I could experience is just increased holiday insurance, which is hilarious when I go away and the family's entire insurance is like £17 and mine's like 160, just because I've clicked I had Hep C. It's my haemophilia means it's about £50, and then you do the Hep C thing and the price goes up, and you're like, well, hey, what? How's that work? It's like, that's not the main thing. The haemophilia is going to cost you the fortune. The Hep C's not going to cost you that much if something happens to me. So, yeah, that's the only thing I've experienced, really.
And some of you have obviously had significant struggles with Skipton and EBS, and we've talked a little bit about that. But in the light of the insurance difficulties, what are your reflections then on not receiving, not accessing Skipton and EBS?
I'm just disgusted with it. That money there is earmarked for everyone that's been infected, and the criteria says yes, you can apply, and then you get the response that, oh, you don't actually meet the criteria. I feel hard done by. I feel let down. I seem to fall through the cracks all the time in the system. I don't get a penny. It's been hard.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It says it's England Infected Blood Support Scheme, run by the NHS with a duty of care. I'm a victim, and I'm not being supported. I'm being victimised for being a victim. The records that I require are in NHS hands. The support is in NHS hands. Where's the communication? Why have I got to fight to get what is there for, or supposed to be there for our support? All it does is mentally make us worse. We are actually getting worse for something that's supposed to support us. That can't be right.
Yeah, it feels very unfair. It does feel very unfair. Like you say, it's supposed to be for people who have been infected and affected by it, which we all have been. And yeah, we're just cut off and said, right, well, you don't really meet the criteria, and it's very upsetting. And again, like you say, notes missing, all these things, and we're just not considered valuable enough.
I'm sat here feeling guilty because I have it. I've been awarded my EBS. I didn't get Skipton. That would have helped my life a lot at the age I was. But I'm sat here feeling guilty because I can imagine my medical notes are probably identical to your guys. And I feel like it's just because of probably the supporting letter that came from the medical team at Sheffield helped me get that. But the anxiety and everything of going through that, everything that we had to get together, and the how long it took, and the stress and a bit worry, and then that anxiousness of Jesus, if we do get awarded this, it's kind of a little bit life changing for me. But that sat there and worrying about that process, it took a long time. That was not. If I'd then got to that point and then been rejected, I would have appealed. But that would have been more stress and everything. And then I feel like if that appeal had gone, there's no way I'd have done it again. I'd have just gone, there you go, that's something, how it happened with Skipton years ago. I got told, you're not going to get it. It's like, fair dues, put it back in your mind, you never get it, walk away. And I would have done that with the EBS if they did turn around and said, you can't get it. I'd gone, okay, there we go, don't get it, walk away. And just have to deal with the fact that this thing happened to me a long time ago, but I've put that aside. But I'm sat here feeling really guilty. There's people in this room who deserve it more than I do, who haven't got it, and I feel guilty for that.
You should not feel guilty for that.
No, don't.
No way. We're all victims, and we all should be supported. Everyone's got their own story. but you should never feel guilty.
And I think that the fact that you got it, other people have had supporting letters and haven't, which
Yeah,
in a way makes it a little bit of a
I
postcode
think
lottery thing, doesn't it?
that feels wrong. That, yeah.
I think the system itself is very, very divisive.
It doesn't work.
It's flawed.
So those are the questions I have for the panel. Is there anything you would like to ask?
Just this. You've all spoken about the effects of it and how, in the words of Kevin, you have felt like victims who've been victimised. But where in the set of consequences that you've faced do you place coming today and facing the stresses of having to bring yourself because you want to, but being in the position where you feel you have to give evidence?
I wanted to give evidence. I wanted to have a voice. Everyone, including my own doctors, told me I'm not a victim. Bit of bad luck, but you're not a victim. Yeah, I speak to these people in this room, they look me in the eye and go, you're one of us. I'm not wrong, they're not wrong, Ed is wrong, my doctors are wrong.
Marnie?
For me, it's yeah, we've all been wronged by this. There are a lot of people who, for whatever their reasons, haven't been able to come and be a part of this today or any of the other days. And I'd like to feel that I'm here to say this isn't okay, not just for me, but for those who can't come.
You're all nodding about that. The reason I'm mentioning that is that nods don't go down in the transcript.
Yeah, no, I totally
You've heard
agree.
me say that before.
Yeah.
Stephen?
This was my opportunity to get my story over, to be heard. I'd applied to the various funds and always told, no, you don't qualify, you don't meet the criteria. I've done various statements. Again, they never seem to get me anywhere, even with the supporting letters from various doctors and organisations. No one was listening, and I just kept that all to myself over the years, and this was my opportunity to be heard.
Wayne?
I just agree with nearly everybody on the panel, well, with everyone here. And for me, it feels, being awarded it, it feels like an opportunity to say it seems a bit unfair that my notes should be virtually the same as theirs, and I've been awarded it and they haven't. It seems yet again just a bit random luck that a scheme that's there to help people and support people is a little bit on luck. I don't know if it's who assessed it that day to award it me, what supporting evidence was given, but most of my medical notes aren't there. All the supporting evidence isn't really there, apart from the fact that I had a liver biopsy and there's a couple of little random notes in it, and that gets me support where everybody else here isn't entitled to it. It just feels a little bit wrong, and I feel like I just needed to, I don't know, make people aware of that there is that, what feels a bit of a wrongness in the way the system's set up at the moment.
See, I was going to say, even now on the IBIS criteria, you read through it, I do match that criteria. I can apply, but it's specific that they want the liver function test results, and if that section's missing from your medical records, you can't apply, and that's the biggest problem.
That's all that I ask.
Kevin, is there anything else you would like to add?
My little summing up is, Sir Brian and all your staff, thank you for your compassion. It means so much to us. We have belief. We have a voice. And something we've never had before. I really appreciate it, and thank you. My wife and family for putting up with me, so I can be a handful, especially when I sometimes leave here dark. I built up a wall years ago to hide this away. That wall came down, and it opened up some very dark times. And I'm glad I'm starting to be open about it. Thank you for letting me do that. And also, like to thank the bravest, most beautiful, caring people I've ever met in my life. And that's my blood family. You mean so much to me. Thank you.
Marlene.
Very similar. Thank you to all of you and Sir Brian for the inquiry and for letting us, like you say, have a voice. Let us be heard as to how this has affected even us who are supposedly very lucky and have cleared it, that we've actually still got a lot of things to live with every single minute of every single day. And we don't know where this is going to go, but it's definitely, as I said before, not taken our lives, but it has taken the lives we thought we should have had and we'd worked hard for. Exams, qualifications, just simply working hard. And it all comes to nothing because we're no longer capable of following that through. And yeah, that needs to be heard and recognised.
Stephen.
Just like to reiterate the same. Thank you for all giving me a voice. I'm disgusted by the treatment I've received over the years, me and my family, and everyone else in this room. It should never have happened, and it's something we've got to live with for the rest of our lives.
Wayne.
I just want to mirror everything everybody said and just thank you, Sir Brian, and the whole team here, and just give me this opportunity. And then last, to thank my wife for support and my mum and my dad for everything they've ever given me. And yeah, just say thank you.
Well, can I, for my part, thank you, because this inquiry, as you know, depends upon people from different perspectives telling their account, and you have done that, I think there's one theme that links a lot of what you've said. You've felt that you've been giving voice not only to yourselves but to others, and a sense of the community that you feel now at least part of, even if you may not have done throughout it all. So thank you for that, and thank you for making the effort and coming today. It's never easy, even though each of you have said you wanted to do it, which is why I asked, because it's simply not easy being in the spotlight and in an unfamiliar situation, even though you may be familiar with the inquiry, but an unfamiliar situation. So it's very much appreciated that you've been prepared to be there as part of this panel. Thank you. Tomorrow.
So tomorrow we will be hearing from a panel of witnesses about the experiences of people infected with hepatitis B. The panel will be Fiona Allen, Sally Davis, Linda Kitson and Dorothy Wright.
Yep. So tomorrow, hepatitis B, 10 o'clock.